Hello everyone, welcome to my channel that is Lecture Notes. So today I'll be explaining the poem that is Names, second part of the Names, which is written by Derek Walcott. In the first part, the poet told that how his history began with the sea, how his race began basically with the sea. Here, the race means that how his own race for the identity, as well as the sea means that how the sea doesn't have a starting or an ending. Similarly, his race doesn't have an initial point. He doesn't know about his past. As a result, he is not able to properly form the future because he feels an identity crisis. So, in the first part, he told how the Caribbean island was formed from different people, basically the slaves who were bought by the colonizers, and how the Caribbean island was formed from those slaves who were put there and robbed of their identity and dignity by reducing them to the slave. Now, in the second part, he'll be telling about the colonizers, that how they also felt displaced and nostalgic. Here he will be telling that how colonizers initially conquered the place and then their mother tongue and then the history by labeling every street according to them. So here he'll be telling what the colonizers did. First, they took the land. Second, they robbed the dignity. Third, they named every place according to their wants. And fourth, they established control through the medium of language. So, starting with the poem, the lines are, and when they named these bays, was it nostalgia or irony? In the uncombed forest and the uncivilized grass, where was their elegance except in their mockery? So, in this part, he describes how the colonizers named everything on the Caribbean island after places and structures in Europe. Like the uncombed forest, the uncivilized forest were named after the beautiful base. So, he's clearly contrasting the two opposite places and saying, was it a state of nostalgia or irony? The poem describes how the Africans first agreed to the names, that they did not revolt, that how the places, every street, every forest were named according to the colonizers, and now they were repeating them, that is, they were adapting everything and then changed them, that is, adapt. That now they have forgotten about their history and they are so much cultivated or so much molded by the colonizers that they have forgotten their history and adapted the new identity which is given by the colonizers. Nostalgia or irony here refers to that the poet, he is unable to understand why they have given the name of beautiful bay name to the uncultivated land. So the next lines are, where were the coats of Castile, Versailles, coronets supplanted by cabbage palms with Corinthian crest, belating diminutives, then little Versailles meant plants of pigsty, names of the sour apples and green grapes of their exile. So the East Castile, Versailles, Corinthian crest, Versailles, these were the architectural glory, places of colonizers in their homeland, and now they were naming the same names to the cabbage plants, pigsty, or any other common place or common street. They show that how desperately they wanted to create a familiar environment for themselves to comfort themselves. So basically, the colonizers were also feeling displaced because they had also left their motherland, their luxuries, their family, and they were naming every street, every place because they were feeling nostalgic. So the way naming has been done, rather than sounding elegant, it seems to be mockery. Colonizers, they do not realize that they themselves are degrading their legacy, and it turned out to be the pun or irony in naming contrasting places. So here in these paragraphs, Walcott shifts his own confused state of mind to the condition of colonizers who too are dislocated and displaced, just as his ancestors have been. They are they too have left behind their glories, their histories, and trying hard to relocate their homelands on these distant shores. So in the basically the second part, he's telling that how the colonizers are also feeling nostalgic and displaced because they also have left their motherlands. So the first part was about his identity crisis, and the second is about how the colonizers are feeling nostalgic and how they are themselves degrading or creating pun or irony by naming their glories to a common street or a common forest. Their memory turned asset, but the names held. Valencia glows with the lanterns of orange. So their memory turned asset, that is, their sweet dreams turned into asset because the colonizer's memory is also fading and they are trying to keep it intact through the names they're giving to the places. So they are also similar yet different from the people who are colonized because they have the act of free will. On the other hand, Africans are the one who are slaves who have been robbed of everything. Still they feel that their sweet dreams have turned into acid because they are away from their heritage, their people and their culture. So they have named everything according uh, to their homeland, but still they feel a sense of nostalgia. Being men they could not live. So here, being men they could not live except they first presumed the right of everything to be a noun. The African quest repeated and changed them. So being men they could not live here says that how difficult for the colonizers to live because they had also left their homeland. Initially they assumed that it was their right and their duty to enlighten the other race because the superior white race they had to maintain control through teaching the colonized their language. So initially when the colonizers came, they came through the medium of language, through the medium of educating or enlightening the people. So being the white race, being the superior race, they had it in mind that it is their need or it is their duty to teach the unprivileged one, repeated and changed them. This probably the way words are pronounced by the Africans. So they are acquiring here. The Africans are acquiring the French or the English language, which is dictated by the colonizers. But the way they pronounce is different from the colonizers. So he's telling that although the names of places are imposed by the Europeans, but the Caribbean had their own accent and therefore it wasn't similar to the colonizers and it didn't appear to be the same that they had named. Listen, my children say, Maubin, the hook plum, cresse, the wind cherry, baila, the bay. So here, uh, the poet that is Derek Walcott has given us an image where a colonizer teacher is teaching the African students and he is telling them to repeat the English words, the French words, and teaching them that how they need to learn their language with the fresh green voices. The fresh green voices are of the Africans and they have been referred to fresh green because they are innocent untrained words that are coming from people who are learning foreign language and who are learning. These are the African students. They were once themselves referred to that how they are now adopting to the culture of colonizers, and once they had their own history which they have forgotten. In the way the wind blends are natural inflections, that how naturally they are adapting whatever way the colonizers are molding them, they are naturally moving towards that way. That there is no sign of revolt seen here. They are naturally moving, they are naturally accepting whatever has been implemented on them. These palms are greater than Versailles, no man made them. Their fallen columns greater than Castile, no man unmade them. Columns here refer to the victory of colonizers, where they robbed the people of their dignity, history, and identity, and made them that how they robbed them of everything except the worm who has no helmet but was always the emperor. Here the a worm has been referred to the colonizers in the Caribbean island who were seen as worms, that is the low-key insect by the European as well as the colonized. And he says that he is wearing no helmet, that he is not wearing a headgear, basically helmet here implying the headgear for the war, that they are not wearing any headgear for the war because they have already colonized and established their name, but was always the emperor, that how they have established their name all over the countries and they have become the kings of all uh, of almost all the countries because they have colonized all the small countries, whether it was China, India, or Africa. And children, look at these stars over Valencia forest, not Oran, not Belize. Tell me, what do they look like? Answer, you damned little Arabs. Sir, fireflies caught in molasses. So last two lines are important. Answer, you damned little Arabs. So this is the first time in the poem that the Africans are given an identity, and that too it is very much derogatory. So here in this line, the position of the master in power is emphasized, and this shows that how the Africans were in a sticky, sweet mess of colonial identity, too irresponsible to reject. Therefore, the only time that the natives are given an actual name and an identity, it is condescending and derogatory, preceded by invective. In the context, the word little is also insulting. That how they are said to be insulting because they have no knowledge of their own and must be raised out of dark ignorance to understand an alien geography and history that is arrogantly bestowed upon them. So, little here, the colonizers have assumed the fact that they don't have a history of their own, and also the people have Africans also have forgotten their own history and established that the history of colonizer or whatever they are teaching is the right and accepted form. So fireflies caught in molasses. Here the metaphor stands for the condition of the African slaves who are like fireflies, capable of emancipating light, that they are capable of glowing, that they do have qualities of being super intelligent or super smart like colonizers, but they are stuck in the molasses. Molasses here refers to the colonizers' physical and ideological trap. So they are not able to escape the colonizers, and therefore they're still in a protective or a dictative environment of the colonizers. So fireflies caught in molasses, fireflies has been referred to the colonizers who have the power or have the qualities of their own to glow, but they are stuck in the trap of the, whether it is physical or ideological trap of the colonizers. So this is it. Thanks for watching the video. Do like and subscribe my channel, that is lecture notes. And if you want us to make any particular video on any particular topic, whether it is any drama, play, novel, or an essay, please do comment in the comment box.